Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Ninjago video on the channel. In today's long-awaited video, I wanted to finally take the time to review the entirety of Ninjago Dragons Rising Part 1. It's gonna be a decently long video because I'm reviewing 10 episodes. I really appreciate if you guys can watch the video all the way through. It would mean a lot to me. I reviewed Seabound and The Island episode by episode, but it's just too much work to be doing it episode by episode, so I'm deciding to do it all at once. But yeah, I want to just get into it and just review these episodes. This season has been so fire so far. I can't wait for part two. I wanted to start off with the opening. It is amazing that there is finally a brand new opening for Ninjago. I love the Weekend Whip to death. Like it's great. It's always been a staple of the Ninjago series as a whole, but every single season has always been a diluted variation of the Weekend Whip. And it's just you get like sick of it after a while. So this brand new opening was really a breath of fresh air for Ninjago music wise. So good on you for that one, Lego. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Starting off with episode 1. We first get introduced to Aaron, one of the main characters of this new soft reboot. He's a big ninja fan. It pretty much ends up going straight to the merge after we see a little bit of Aaron. The ninja end up trying to help people in the process of the merge occurring, and pretty much they end up getting pulled into the merge. Aaron sees his parents' house and his parents gone after what happened in the merge, and the only thing left for him is Lloyd's green ninja mask. 1 year after the merge happens, Aaron and his new friend Sora are living in the Crossroads, which is a combined realms market. It's basically because this whole thing of this new season is the 16 realms have combined it into one thing. So this Crossroads is like all these different 16 realm factions like kind of living together simultaneously. Pretty much Sora ends up entering a mech race, and in the process a little dragon named Ryu, which I love that little dragon. He is so cute. He is such a staple of this new season. We end up seeing him being attacked by hunters. So Sora gains a new power by touching Ryu, some sort of new elemental power. Aaron ends up self-teaching himself Spinjitzu. So on his own, he taught himself Spinjitzu, which is pretty cool. They end up losing against the hunters and get captured, and Lloyd ends up coming in for the save and saves them. And yeah, Lloyd ends up saving them. We get to see Lloyd in the first episode. Lloyd's a staple of Ninjago Dragons Rising Part 1. I love Lloyd in this season. But yeah, overall, this first episode was really good. The 16 Realms merging is a really interesting idea. I really think it is. So much possibilities can happen with this. Sora and Aaron being new characters in this reboot seem really cool. And Lloyd, pretty much seeing Lloyd again in a new ninja suit is really cool. I love these new ninja suits. They're fire. But yeah, let's just get on to episode 2. Let's knock these out. The episode starts off with, like I said, Lloyd was fighting the hunters and ends up saving Aaron and Sora. Lloyd takes them back to the monastery of Ninjitsu. Lloyd ends up having a flashback of Master Wu knowing that the merge would happen. Kind of like how he knew, I can't remember from Hands of Time, it's either Cruxer or Chronix. Master Wu knew exactly what date, what time, and what place Cruxer Chronics would come back to the monastery. And we end up figuring out that Lloyd was working with Kai to find answers on the merge. And Kai ends up getting sucked into the merge. Lloyd, Aaron, and Sora end up taking the Destiny's bounty to go see a group of dragons for help on the merge. They end up getting attacked by the hunters who are trying to steal the dragons. Some of the dragons get captured, but the main big dragon, I'm calling him the main big dragon because I don't remember what his name is, nor do I think he even had a name. But he ends up giving Lloyd a super cool energy power up that enhances his elemental power, which is energy, obviously. So dragons can give you elemental power ups now, which is kind of fire. They end up getting the hunters to leave, and the fight is over. And Aaron and Sora want to leave Ryu with his people, which is understandable. And Ryu ends up staying with them after all. The last thing we end up seeing from this episode is we get to see the Queen of Imperium. Pretty cool. We're gonna talk about her later in the video. But yeah, overall, this episode was really good. Master Wu knowing when the merge would happen is wild. Kai getting sucked into the merge is also wild. Looking for Lloyd getting powered up from a dragon is also pretty fire. But yeah, overall this episode was pretty good. Let's get into episode 3. So episode 3 starts off with Sora and Aaron sleeping. Lloyd wakes them up, and it looks like Lloyd is now a master, which I think is pretty fire because, you know, I like the Ninjago series has been going on for so long. I think if anybody out of the ninja team would be considered a master at some point, I think it would most likely be Lloyd. But Lloyd tries to train them. Aaron is super into it because he's like a big ninja fan. Sora isn't really doing the best in her training. But yeah, that night pretty much, Sora and Aaron end up skipping training and sneaking out to go to the Crossroads Carnival, which is pretty much a big celebration carnival thing for the merge of the 16 realms in that area or whatever. Also because Sora wants to win the pie contest. She's lost, I think, a couple of years, and she wants to win. They have some big pie contest, so that's cool. They end up going there, seeing people sell stuff and showing stuff off from all the 16 realms. She ends up losing the pie contest again, which sucks. Sora and Aaron end up pretty much getting attacked by some bad guys. They steal some sort of robot. And then we end up skipping to Lloyd finding out that they're gone. So he sees a little flyer on the desk, and he ends up going to the Crossroads Carnival to find them. Aaron and Sora go to save the little robot. Lloyd at the carnival ends up being knocked into somebody and falls into the Ninja Memorial. So at the Crossroads Carnival, they have a little memorial for the ninja, which I don't 100% know why Lloyd isn't in the memorial either, and Lloyd ends up talking to two little kids. I don't understand why Lloyd isn't recognized, but I mean, that's kind of something that never really got answered. But yeah, Lloyd ends up getting happy because he knows that the ninja aren't being forgotten, and he knows he's hoping that they're out there somewhere. Yeah, so this pretty much lets Lloyd know that the ninja haven't been forgotten. Sora and Aaron pretty much go to inspect a secret entrance where some people are being held, and they end up fighting this magic guy. I don't remember what his name is. He probably does have a name, but I didn't really care that much to really try to remember his name. But yeah, pretty much Aaron and Sora end up fighting the magic guy. Lloyd comes in and helps them, and they end up freeing the civilians, and the magic guy ends up being put in the cage themselves. Lord Roz ends up saving the magic guy from the cage, and that's the end of the episode. Overall, I do think this episode was also very good. I like the carnival part. I think it's a cool idea of having a little carnival for all the different realms and stuff. It's pretty fire. Lloyd being a master now technically is really cool. But yeah, let's get on to episode 4 here. Episode 4 starts with Sora trying to use her powers on her own, but she can't really seem to do it without Ryu's help. Aaron and Sora end up doing more training, and Aaron tries to master his spinjitzu. Sora tells Lloyd that she's no help without her powers, and Lloyd tells her the exact thing I thought he would tell her, is with due time you will master your pretty much elemental powers. They end up seeing the Destiny's Bounty crashing down on fire, which is what Kai was in when he was searching for the merge. And then they end up flying it to Kai's last known location. They find notes Kai's left behind in it, and it ends up telling them to go to. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this. I think it's the Rock Realm, but it might not be. It might not be called the Rock Realm. They end up going there, and they end up starting to fight with the Rock people, and we pretty much ended up seeing Nia, which is cool. We got to finally see one of the ninjas. That's the one thing that I really ended up liking from this season, is it's always that mystery of what ninja are they gonna find next, and I think that's kind of a cool idea. The Rock people hate dragons because they've been, I guess, at war with the dragons for a while. Nia has been helping the Rock people. Of course, they didn't take lightly to baby Ryu because he is a dragon, but Nia convinced them to let him stay with them. Lloyd tells Nia that Kai's last location was there, and does she know anything? She says no. They end up hearing fighting outside, so they go and check it out. It turns out it's Kai fighting some dragons. They help Kai and they reunite once again. The episode ends kind of right there. Overall, I think this episode was definitely pretty good. Also, seeing Kai again, not just Kai, but Kai and Nia in one episode was pretty good. It's pretty fire. Pretty much the whole thing of tracking where Kai could be, I think was a good idea. Kind of like they're going on a little adventure trying to figure out where Kai's at. But yeah, overall, pretty solid episode. Let's get on to episode 5. Episode 5 starts off with all the ninja on the Destiny's Bounty scouting their next location, and they end up coming to the Cloud Kingdom. Now, I don't remember if it's actually called the Cloud Kingdom because I haven't seen Possession in a long time, which is where it comes from, but I think that's what it's called. They end up going there because they found out that they can search for answers on the merge. They end up getting attacked by some big kaiju starfish monster thing, and it turns out that one of the scribes of the Cloud Kingdom is the new elemental master of wind. I do have a video on that if you guys want to check it out at some point, but if people didn't know, the original elemental master of wind was Moro, which was the main villain of Ninjago Season 5 Possession, so that's kind of pretty cool. Lloyd, Nia, and Kai go to ask the knowledge worm. There's these knowledge worms that have knowledge on everything, which okay and interesting. And when they ask the worm about the merge, they ended up turning red and go crazy and kind of spit this weird stuff at him and put him in like cocoons. Pretty much, the starfish monster comes back. Aaron frees Kai, Lloyd, and Nia, and the Master of Wind, Aaron, Sora, and Lloyd help fight. Pretty much help fight it. Kai and Nia also come and help too. The hunters end up taking the dragon back to base, and the episode ends overall. Well, what I mean by taking them back to base is they from the dragons that they caught before. It's just a little weird scene they had of them taking them back to base. So that's cool. Overall, I thought this episode was pretty solid also. Seeing the Cloud Kingdom again was really cool. Literally seeing the new Elemental Master of Wind was really interesting. And seeing more of Kai and Nia in action was really cool also. Let's get on to episode 6 now. Episode 6 starts off with the hunters trying to capture the dragon. Lloyd, Sora, and Aaron are there to stop them. They're in like this junkyard area and they're trying to capture this dragon. Pretty much, they end up being stopped by this robotic wolf. And we end up seeing what that robotic wolf is in a minute. But pretty much their elemental powers don't work on it for some reason. And here we end up seeing the very sad backstory of Sora. Sora is originally from Imperium, and she was the top of her class, the most smartest kid there. And she ends up being seen by the doctor of the main area of Imperium in the main capital area. She ends up telling Sora that she can help her build an army for Imperium, and Sora's mom and dad were really pushing her to help Imperium. But Sora found out that they were using the dragons. They were hurting the dragons. And in the process of hurting the dragons, that's how they get the energy, the power for the city. And she thought that it wasn't right, so she ends up running away from Imperium and ends up with Aaron. And then we go back to the present day. Pretty much, we end up figuring out also that that wolf is her creation. She was forced to make it in order for them not to hurt the dragons. Lloyd, Sora, and Aaron end up breaking into Imperium in disguise. Sora runs into the doctor once again and forces her to make a lot more of those dogs, pretty much. And then that's the end of the episode. Overall, this was a really good episode, I think. Sora's backstory was really sad. I think it was well fleshed out, though. Them going into Imperium was interesting because we haven't really seen Imperium yet. But yeah, overall, pretty solid episode. Let's get on to episode 7. So episode 7 starts off with an ad from the Claws of Imperium. They like to advertise people joining the Claws of Imperium, which are like the high-class general dudes, I guess. Pretty much, Sora, Lloyd, and Aaron are trying to escape. Lloyd, on his way out, ends up fighting a girl with the elemental power of fire like Kai. This could be something else. We don't really know, but it looks like she has fire. And we never really seen like multiple people with the same element unless they were part of their family. Pretty much Lloyd helps save her. Of course, like I said, the doctor forces Sora to make more robotic dogs. Sora finally uses her powers on her own, but she ends up getting captured in the process. It wasn't enough, pretty much. And yeah, that's the end of the episode. Overall, this episode I thought was pretty solid. Seeing Wildfire for the first time was cool. Sora getting captured was crazy. Her using her powers on her own was really fire. Just really solid episode overall. Let's get on to episode 8. So episode 8 starts off with the Wildfire's backstory. And apparently she literally comes down from the sky, which I don't know if that indirectly says that she's an alien, but it kind of seems like it. She was pretty much raised by dragons on a fiery planet and was kind of raised by a robot at the same time, which was weird. Lloyd and Wildfire end up trying to escape on the dragons. Kai is at the monastery literally just playing video games, which is kind of fire. Kai ends up hearing some weird voices that lead him down into a weird place under the monastery. Lloyd and Wildfire end up meeting up with Aaron, trying to escape but get stopped by the Claws of Imperium with pretty much an army of robotic wolves. Lloyd and Aaron end up losing Ryu for some reason. So Sora and Aaron have to go back to save Ryu while Wildfire and Lloyd stay there to fight the robotic wolves as much as they possibly can. The episode ends with Kai finding Nia under the monastery too. It's kind of crazy how they end up like just meeting with each other again down there. It's pretty interesting, but yeah, but that's pretty much the end of that episode. Overall, I thought the episode was pretty solid. The dragons helping fight the bad guys is really cool. Seeing Wildfire in action a little bit more was fire. No pun intended there. Something under the monastery was pretty crazy. But yeah, let's get on to episode 9. So episode 9 starts off with a really cool flashback of Lloyd from season 1. So a lot of people don't know when this takes place. It's not actually confirmed when this takes place, but this is Lloyd before he got forced to be transformed into his older self back in season 1, so I'm assuming what it's from. It's pretty much him thinking back to this ability that Master Wu taught him, and he's trying to use it in this situation so it can help him in pretty much the predicament that he's in. A random citizen ends up taking Ryu and brings him directly to the queen because he thinks he's going to get a reward out of it. Kai talks to Nia about pretty much everything that's going on. Aaron and Sora end up fighting baby Ryu trapped. Nia and Kai end up finding Zane in a pod. Yes, now I don't know the specifics of this. Why was Zane in a pod under the monastery? It was actually never confirmed, but it's pretty interesting nonetheless. Kai and Nia end up saving Zane. Pretty much Nia, Kai, and Zane end up going through a door in the monastery, and it leads straight to Imperium. I would talk so much about that, but there's really no point. Like, how does a door in the monastery directly lead to Imperium? That was pretty crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the episode. It pretty much shows Kai, Zane, and Nia coming through the Imperium side of the door to help Lloyd and Wildfire. And yeah, that's the end of the episode. Overall, this episode was really cool. A lot of action. It's great seeing my boy Zane again. You can't go wrong with Zane. It's amazing. Yeah, it's just amazing that Kai, Zane, and Nia came out of nowhere. But yeah, let's get on to the final episode of this season, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, let's get into it. Pretty much with the doctor talking to the captured Sora and Aaron. Sora and Aaron escape but get stopped by Lord Roz. All of the ninja hide the dragons in the door. Kai, Zane, and Nia come through and they need power. They pretty much need a power source so they can get the dragons from the door of Imperium to the monastery. Lloyd and Zane end up trying to find a power source, and they found the biggest power source in Imperium, which is some really, really big dragon. Again, I don't remember, but I think they're called source dragons. I can't remember specifically, but they're very, 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 very unique dragons. Lloyd ends up getting the biggest power up possible, and like he has some like weird thing that happens to him. It's pretty crazy. He ends up using his energy to get the dragons through the door. And then it ends up pretty much with us a couple of days later. Yes, whatever this power up was for Lloyd took a couple of days for him to recover. At this point, everybody, all the ninja are talking, and they officially made Sora and Aaron part of the ninja team. The queen we see the queen ends up getting rid of Lord Roz. It's pretty crazy, and then Lord Roz gets put into some sort of prison or whatever. This is the end of episode 12. Overall, I think it's definitely the best episode. A lot of action, just a lot of stuff. So cool seeing Lloyd get an even more crazy power up from an even more crazy dragon is pretty cool. The Queen getting rid of Lord Roz is kind of crazy. This season was some really good content. But that's going to do it for today's video, you guys. If you guys got this far in the video, thank you guys so much for watching. It means a lot. And yeah, I catch you guys in the next one. Peace.